You are listening to the Fringe Radio Network. FringeRadioNetwork.com.
You're listening to Earth Oddity, a weekly odyssey into all the oddity planet Earth has to offer. And now, serving it up are Christopher Tiny Sullivan and John Long.
Welcome, everybody, to Earth Oddity, your weekly odyssey into all the odd things in the world, or whatever the announcer just said.
Episode 32.
Episode 32.
Rolling along.
Yeah, it's quite impressive. I at the beginning, I didn't know how long we would make it, but we're here and we're
I don't think
well.
I've ever been as dedicated to this podcast as I am than to anything else I've ever done in my life, actually.
I would say outside of my marriage, yeah, this is probably number one.
My wife, I think she's actually kind of aggravated with me that I've kept it up.
Yeah.
You know, she thought that this was going to be just a kick I got on, and then I was tired of it.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
Just didn't appreciate the long nights, the late nights on Sunday night anymore, but I'm still doing it, and I think she's kind of aggravated about it.
Well, I don't know if my wife's aggravated about it. Really, my wife has always left me to my own devices to pretty much do whatever I wanted to do.
For good or ill.
Yeah, but she just doesn't support me anymore in it. As we found out last week when we called her,
Right.
She has way more important stuff to do, like watch Big Brother and The Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise. That's huge now, so.
They do have budgets that are
way bigger than ours.
probably 100 times ours.
I know a guy who was a cameraman on The Bachelor for a long time. Shout out to Brack. I doubt he listens, but he lives in Jasper now.
Isn't that guy on Space Coast?
Brack is one of the more interesting people you ever meet. Excellent musician, too, and just a good dude all around. We went to college together, and I like him a lot. And he knew who won The Bachelor before anybody else did back when he was doing that gig. So,
you got any stories today?
I do. I got several good ones. One of the highlights for me is a Missouri nun who was caught smuggling cocaine in her high heels. So.
A nun?
A nun, yeah.
Okay.
You don't hear that every day.
No.
She likes a little toot sweet. Get a little booger sugar going, so.
I've got a story about sidewalk urinals.
Oh, okay.
Getting put up in Paris. Excellent idea. Not the most classy.
Well, yeah, I would
Not
say.
what you think of when you think Paris.
I'm sure we might cover, how is it cordoned off, or is it just right out there in the open? And, I got several questions on that, but not opposed to sidewalk urinals.
Right.
Yeah. I think the pee trough might be better, just have a pee trough, like right in the gutter.
Yeah.
Really, let's just pee in the gutter. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. I've saved everybody millions of dollars in France.
Well, right now, let's talk about the, dare I say it? You want to talk about the Satanic Temple?
Yeah. Yes. Sure. All right.
I'm sure you've heard of these guys before.
Sure.
They're really atheists who
Right.
are like, professional trolls.
Yes.
But in case you haven't been following the story, they've been trying to erect a statue
Yeah.
on the grounds of the Arkansas State Capitol.
Okay.
Like a big giant Baphomet statue.
Yeah, right. Sure.
And it was unveiled this week.
Oh, yeah.
They got it.
They got it?
They
And
got it.
Huh.
Little Rock, Arkansas. Dozens attended. Dozens, John.
Dozens.
Dozens.
They got a big following out there.
Dozens attended a rally held by the Satanic Temple at the Arkansas State Capitol on Thursday. The rally comes after the Arkansas legislature approved the placement of a Ten Commandments monument on the Capitol grounds.
Okay.
I know the Ten Commandments is kind of
huge.
controversial in our day and age,
Right.
but there was a time it wasn't.
No.
And if you go to the Supreme Court building, it's engraved in marble.
Yeah.
Well,
look, how dare Christians try to put up basic tenets for decent living, like don't murder, don't cheat on your spouse, okay? How dare they try to force that down everyone's throat?
During the Satanic Temple's rally for the First Amendment, a more than 8-foot tall Baphomet statue was unveiled.
Wow.
Those against the rally also attending, telling KATV that they hope to spread God's love by, I guess, opposing this statue.
They're holding signs.
Yes.
That says down with Baphomet.
Following the installation of the Ten Commandments monument, the Satanic Temple filed a lawsuit to have its statue placed on the same grounds in the name of religious pluralism and the First Amendment. Ooh. During the 2017 legislative session, the Satanic Temple sent a letter to Arkansas legislators asking for lawmakers to sponsor a bill that would allow a Baphomet statue on the Capitol grounds, but not one lawmaker responded.
Yeah.
Well, they got to get reelected, right. So that's not surprising.
Yeah, they know who their voters are.
The rally had 5 speakers, including the Satanic Temple spokesperson and co-founder, and was held at the Arkansas State Capitol from 1 to 3. The event is intended to be an inclusive gathering where the Satanic Temple will be celebrating pluralism along with Christian and secular speakers. I really would like to know who those Christian speakers are.
It's probably Olstein. Kenneth Copeland.
You don't think the Satanic Temple spent too much money on their Baphomet statue to afford Joel Osteen?
His speaking fee? Yeah, he probably didn't walk out the door for less than $1 million.
People of many faiths will come together at the Capitol to reject the Arkansas state legislators' efforts to privilege one religion over others, explains Lucian Greaves, spokesman and co-founder of the Satanic Temple. Arkansas State Senator Jason Rappert released the following statement in response to the scheduled protest. The United States Constitution guarantees the rights of...
It guarantees the rights to freedom of religion. I guarantee that's where he's going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, originally I thought they had their statue erected. Apparently they don't have it up yet, but they do have it made. And it was a big rally to bring it out and pull the sheet off of it.
Right.
Maybe they had like a big giant pair of scissors or a bloody machete or something and they cut that ribbon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I got a plan for all our Christian brothers and sisters out there. When this thing gets erected, here's how you get it taken down. All right. Claim, and now you're going to have to make some sacrifices for some of you guys out in Arkansas. Claim that the devil is around in the Civil War, and we don't want any monuments of anything that happened in the Civil War.
Somebody needs to go dig up some tweets from Baphomet 10 years ago.
That's right.
Where he's talking about racism and, how the white people are privileged and all this, that.
Right, yeah. And then we'll just get that thing taken right on down, That's the way, that's what you're going to have to do. Now, if you're like in the Sons of the Confederacy or whatever, you're going to have to make some personal sacrifices because you're going to lose your, I don't even know who is a famous Civil War general from Arkansas, but you're going to lose those monuments too.
I know Robert E. Lee because there was a famous car named after him. But other than that.
Robert E. Lee?
Yeah.
What car was named after Robert E. Lee?
The General Lee.
Oh, well, okay, there you go. Yes.
Yes.
Well, I know a lot of Confederate generals. You got Forrest and all that, but I'm just saying that were hailed from Arkansas.
Okay, yeah. I got you.
Right. Okay, so, let's see, where do I want to go first? Since we're talking religion here, I got 2 religious stories, so I don't know which one I want to do first, but I think I'm going to do this one because I like the dude's name. Cody Coots.
Cody Coots.
Oh,
I know him.
He was bitten by a snake during a service. So he's a snake handler from Kentucky. Those people listening in other parts of the world, I don't know that snake handling exists, as a part of a Christian religious service anywhere other than the Southeast and Appalachia.
It's rare, but it definitely exists.
Yeah, okay.
We can't... I know a lot of times people get the wrong idea about certain, areas of the nation or whatever, and people are like, well, it's not really like that. For instance, a lot of people think that the South, every single person is racist.
Right.
And
yes, they do think that.
And there is a small pocket of people who are not racist that live in the South, but they never get any play.
I actually think there's more not racist than racist in the South, but we built up a reputation for a long time.
Right.
And it's just like if you did something stupid when you're a teenager that follows you for your whole life, that's just what it is. Even if you've changed as a person, people still look at you and you're like, that dude robbed a convenience store or whatever. You know? So, because, and
there are definitely snake handlers in the Southeast. That's not something we can say. It's not really like that. Because it's rare, but it definitely is a thing.
I don't know if you remember this. There was a guy who had a snake handling church in Scottsboro, Alabama, who got convicted of killing his wife by letting her get bit by a snake. So I was like, that's a long play to get your wife out of here. Like, all right, now I'm going to jump in the snake handling, and then I'm going to let one go in her house, and it's going to bite her or whatever,
Man.
Anyway, Coots' father died during a church service in 2014 from a snake bite. And Cody was bitten by a snake while giving a sermon and required emergency medical intervention to save his life. But in their Kentucky church, this is not the first time a snake handler has been bitten during a religious service. Coots' father, Jamie, was bitten by a snake and died after he asked that his fate be left up to God's will. So... that's pretty tough. The Metro says that Cody Coots asked the same of his congregation. Coots told them if he is bitten, they should take him to the mountaintop for the Lord to decide whether he lives or dies. And there's a video of this, by the way. I hadn't watched it because I'm not into watching people die, but you can find it out there if you want to. But luckily, a few parishioners, including a man named Big Cody, defied Coots and sought medical attention, and he throws him up. I saw a picture. He throws it. Big Cody's big. He's like you. He throws him up over his shoulder and just, I guess, totes him to the hospital.
It's like, we're not going to the mountaintop. We're going to go to the hospital, but the Lord's going to decide at the hospital.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're
whether you're going to live or die.
Most people bit in the face are dead in 5 to 10 minutes. This is a quote from Big Cody. I mean, his own daddy got bit in the hand and within 7 minutes was dead. So, wow.
Man.
Big Cody says he still remembers when Jamie Coots, the pastor of the Full Gospel Tabernacle in Jesus' Name Church. That's a mouthful.
Boy, they got some names.
Yeah, they do.
The Pentecostals.
They do.
They come up with some excellent names.
They do. They do. I like those names better than I like, like
First Baptist Church.
First Baptist, all that doesn't matter. I don't like Vision Church or, like all the trendy names that everybody has now. I don't like those. I would rather you be named the Full Gospel Tabernacle in Jesus' name. I just think that's a lot cooler to me. But it's in Middlesboro, Kentucky. And Jamie Coots died when he was bitten, and he was 42 years old. Only a year older than me, by the way. The church is compelled by the Bible verse Mark 16:18, which says, "They will pick up serpents, and if they drink any deadly poison, it will not hurt them." So I'm not trying to get in a theological debate. If you're into snake handling, you're into snake handling. I think you're weird, but whatever. In the video, though, Coots is seen covered in blood in the aftermath of a snake bite, which nearly severed his temporal artery, leading blood to spray everywhere. Cody Coots is a 4th-generation snake handler, and he recalls the day his father died. And he says, when the Bible says serpents, it means a poisonous snake. When the old man got bit, he died within probably 10 minutes. It's a nasty bite. Every time he had ever got bitten, I'd never seen him drop a snake. And I've seen the snake hit the floor, and I thought, well, just take him home.
Man.
Jamie Coots, his dad, when he got bit, ran to the bathroom screaming that his face was on fire, and then he dropped dead. Snake handling.
I'm guessing that wasn't a holy fire.
Yeah. Here's the most shocking line of the whole article. Snake handling frequently ends badly, and there have been several fatal snake bites in the religion over the last 10 years. At the time of Cody Coots' bites, 14 people were worshiping at the church in a service that approximately lasts 90 minutes. 14. I could get those attendance numbers up. Hard to get people to come out. When you go and knocking on doors.
Yes.
Hey, come on over to the Full Tabernacle of Jesus' Graces, whatever, and we're gonna hold some snakes. We'd like to see you come on down and visit us. it's hard to get people to show up for that.
I don't know if they would welcome me into their congregation because I would show up every Sunday with snake chaps on.
Like your pistol on your hip.
I would never. I mean, I would enjoy watching other people do it, but I don't think I would ever.
And
pick up the serpent.
I wish she was here because I'm almost positive my mom has sang in a snake handling church. I could be wrong, but she sang in churches all over the world, all over America, really. And I'm almost positive she has.
You need to ask her.
I've been
we
with
need to
her.
talk about that.
I've been with her in some Pentecostal speaking in tongues churches and stuff. And when you're like 10 years old, that's some of the strangest stuff you'll ever see in your life. And that was back, like I talked about last week, when Holy Ghost was still the preferred nomenclature.
Right.
And you get Holy Ghost and people, and it's like wild, and you're like, wow, we don't do this at my church.
Our church is basically you go sit in the pew, you sing a couple songs, and then you get fussed at. You get in trouble for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you go home.
Tell what you've been doing wrong. Yeah. If it's Father's Day, it's even worse, by the way. It's like, I'm not saying that about our preacher. That's just a joke. Like Father's Day, all the good Christian men show up and get told how we're not doing a good job. So, how society's failing because we're not doing a good job. So, but.
And then Mother's Day.
It's like, oh, mother can't do no wrong. No wrong. We let's give them all flowers.
The reason our society is hanging by a thread is that thread is
it's
mothers.
all moms, not us men. No, not us men who choose to bring our families to church to worship on a weekly basis. No, not us. No, let's tell them what they're doing wrong, how we need to stand up. Here's a surprising tidbit from the article, and then I'll wrap it up with this. Coots's wife, Tammy, who's 25, says she's not into snake handling. She said, it's not for me.
You got your thing, honey.
Yeah, it's not for me. I wasn't raised in this religion. I met Cody through my dad, and we just clicked. It was just like crazy over him. So she's sticking by him. Yeah. And I'll say this. And good for you, Tammy. I can't even get my wife to listen to the podcast, and you'll let your husband preach with a poisonous snake in his hand. So,
you think Deidre would have something to say if you started snake handling?
I thought, hey, baby, I got church you need to visit. I've decided the Lord's leading me to another church, and this is what's going to happen. But yeah, I don't know. Like we discussed, I love the Lord. I don't love him enough to pick up a poisonous snake, and maybe that's a bad reflection on me. Well,
I will say this, and now maybe this is me just searching the Bible looking for a loophole or a way out.
I said, do not tempt the Lord.
But I was about to say, when Satan told Jesus, hey, jump off the temple, you'll be okay, because the Bible says that you're not even going to stump your toe.
Right.
He didn't do it.
Yeah. So, like, hey, he gave us a brain for a reason.
Jesus wouldn't jump off the temple. I'm going to use that as an excuse not to take up a snake.
Okay. Yeah. I like that one. I like that one. I'm putting that one in my back pocket for later. But
now look, maybe at some point I'll be, dragging limbs. I don't know if, come summertime down here in the South, you clearing land, you're cutting limbs, and you're dragging limbs and stacking them up.
Yeah.
Maybe at some point I might accidentally put my hands on a snake, and maybe that snake will or will not bite me, like the Bible talks about.
Right.
But I'm not going to pick one up on purpose.
Well, like I told you, I'll try to catch a non-poisonous snake.
Right.
But I'm not trying to catch a poisonous one. Now if it's not harming my family, I'm not going to kill it like a lot of people, you and others would do. Because,
hey man, it's a policy.
Well, I know. Yeah, you got a policy. Because snakes serve a purpose in the world, and they're there to help control rodents and whatever. You guys are trying to bring the Black Plague back, but I'm not. So I'm not going to kill a snake, but I ain't going to go pick it up.
Right.
I'm not an idiot. But, whatever. These dudes want to do that, that's fine with me. I'm very much surprised that there hasn't been a government agency step in and go, you can't do this, you're endangering children or whatever.
That's a good point, yeah.
I mean, I guess it's coming now that this probably got a lot of publicity.
Well, this has been around for years.
Forever,
this isn't
really.
Like something new.
Hundreds of years, yeah.
So
people have been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, you know how the nanny state is. I'm surprised they haven't got involved.
Right. Well, maybe they're just like, there's not enough of them to make a difference. If they got 14 people showing up,
that's true.
We've had a little attendance dip at our church, but we ain't hit 14 yet. What we do is we're going to have to get real worried. Maybe that's when we break the snakes out. You know, maybe that's what happens. You're just like, well, nothing else to do. Let's get the snakes out. You know?
Well, our next story, and man, we've had two, religion stories, and I think we've got another one coming up.
I got another one, and a kind of one if you talk about the nun smuggling cocaine, too. This is a very religion-centric show this week.
We're going to take a short break from religion, and I'm going to ask you a question, John. John, did you know that children are susceptible to peer pressure?
Oh, I've heard that. Seems like I've heard that a lot in youth group.
Yes. I know when I was a kid, I was certainly susceptible to a certain degree of peer pressure.
No, I was too.
Yeah. So that makes perfect. Everybody knows that. Right. That's nothing new.
Yeah.
Did you know that children are susceptible to peer pressure from robots?
I did not know that.
Well, that's our next article. This comes from The Verge. Children are susceptible to peer pressure from robots. If your friends told you to jump off a bridge, would you? It's a warning you probably heard in childhood, a hypothetical example of the dangers of groupthink. And it likely inspired more impulsive behavior than it prevented. But in the not-too-distant future, parents may have to update this little adage. If a robot told you to jump off a bridge, would you? Because as it turns out, quite a few probably would. In a study published today in the journal Science Robotics, researchers from Germany and the UK demonstrated that children are susceptible to peer pressure from robots. The findings say the researchers show that as robots and AIs become integrated into social spaces, we need to be careful about the influence they wield, especially on young people. Robots and AI could use social influence to change our behavior. The paper's authors ask, for example, if robots recommend products, services, or preferences, will compliance be higher than with more traditional advertising methods? They note that robots are being introduced to plenty of other domains where social influence can be important, including healthcare, education, and security. The study in question is actually a reimagining of perhaps the best known and most influential demonstration of social conformity, the Ahhh experiment. Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't.
ASCH? I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
This series of tests, first carried out in 1951 by Polish psychologist Solomon Asch, illustrates how humans can be influenced by groupthink to the point where we will deny even the most obvious facts. In his experience, he invited 50 male college students to take part in a vision test. The students were seated around a table and shown a line on a chart next to a group of 3 other lines of varying lengths, labeled A, B, and C. They were then asked one at a time to say which of the 3 lines was closest in length to the first line. And the answer was obvious, but what participants didn't know is that all but one of the students were actors. And when the ringers were called upon to give their answer, they all gave the same incorrect response.
Yeah.
When it came turn for the real test subject to give the answer, roughly 1/3 gave to social pressure and gave the same answer, the same incorrect answer.
That's right, yeah.
So, like, if me, you, and Casey were looking at these lines and we're all saying it's line number B, but it's wrong.
Right.
And then James Elmore, he knows it's A,
but
he's going to say B because me, you, and Casey said it.
Right, yeah. And he's like, well, maybe what I thought was wrong, so these guys must be right. Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to go against the herd.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yes.
Well,
so robots are going to do that to us, basically.
It's such an elegant little experiment that we just thought, let's do it again, but with robots, says Tony Belsfamy.
Okay.
Man.
Nailed it.
Professor Tony, a professor of robotics at the University of Plymouth and co-author of the paper. And that's exactly what he and his colleagues did, adding the extra twist of testing the first group of adults and then groups of children. The results showed that while adults did not feel the need to follow the example of the robots, the children were much more likely to.
Yeah.
When the kids were alone in the room,
that's how they get you.
They were quite good at the task. But when the robots took part and gave wrong answers, they just followed the robots. Mm-hmm. Although it's the susceptibility of the children that leaps out in this experiment, the fact that the adults were not swayed by the bots is also significant because it goes against an established theory in sociology known as computer or social actors, or CASA. I never heard of that.
I hadn't either. I've heard of Taco Casa.
This theory, which was first outlined in a 1999 book, states that humans tend to interact with computers as if they were fellow humans. The results of this study show that there are limits to this theory, although he says that his colleagues were not surprised by this. So
I'd say probably age is a factor because, people, I know my age, I haven't been on the internet my whole life. You know, I didn't get on the internet till after I was out of high school was when it was available. And so maybe there's a natural built-in mistrust of, okay, things on the computer can be wrong or whatever.
Right.
But if you're like my kids who have grown up
talking to Siri.
Yeah, talking
and asking
to
questions
everything
to
else.
Alexa.
Yeah. Then you're like, well, I assume it's right. Or it just could be that kids are dumb because kids are dumb. Perfect example. This has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, but I just want to tell you, Thomas, my oldest son, great kid. I love him. Kid's never in trouble in school, makes excellent grades, awesome kid. We've been trying to get him into the habit of wearing deodorant because he's 13 now,
right?
You know, and you just got to start wearing deodorant because you start kicking, you know, you're stinking. Well, Deidre bought him a new stick of deodorant because he didn't like the other kind he had, or that was his excuse when we were like, "Why?" So she bought him a new stick of deodorant. Well, last night, Deidre, actually, let's roll back. Yesterday morning, I was like, Thomas, you know, get up, get your shower, put on your deodorant and everything. And he's been keeping his deodorant on his nightstand. I was like, why don't you take the deodorant into your bathroom? That way, when you're getting dressed out of the shower, you can put it on. You won't forget it's right in your face. Okay. I was like, yeah. So he comes out. Hey, did you put on deodorant? Yeah, I did. You know, okay. Yeah, that's fine. So last night, Deidre's in the bathroom. She comes back, comes to the kitchen. She was like, Thomas didn't put this deodorant on. It's still got the like plastic cap on the inside, you know, because he's an idiot. He don't know that stuff's even on there. He's never yet know. And so I immediately like, let's make him lie to us. And I was like, Thomas, did you put on deodorant this morning? He was like, yeah. And I was like, you sure? He's like, yeah, put it on. And I'm like, oh yeah. And Deidre's like, go back there and get that stick of deodorant and bring it to us, and we're going to show you why you're lying. So then he goes to the bathroom. He's in there for like 2 or 3 minutes because, you know, those things can be tricky to get off sometimes, the little cap thing that's over it. And then he comes back with it off, you know, and then he was like, you're such a liar, you know. So I called him a liar all night long. I'm like, why are you going to lie about something stupid like that? I'm like, save your lies for good stuff, you know, like, let's be practical.
Well,
here.
maybe he's just trying to lie a lot now so he gets better at it.
Right, maybe so.
You know?
Maybe so. But yeah, I was just like, kids are dumb. That was what that whole thing was, because kids are dumb. Because if your dad...
Well, according to this article, you need a little robot in the bathroom
telling hey,
Thomas, hey man, put on your deodorant.
All the cool kids are doing it.
I wore deodorant this morning.
Right.
You need to wear deodorant too.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, kids are dumb. Because first of all, if your dad at 8:30 at night is asking you about deodorant, then you need to know something's up, you know, and like, don't lie. That's why I'm like, man, you're an honor student. You know, how does that not click off in your head? Like, hey, we had a conversation this morning about me using deodorant, and now my dad has doubled back and is bringing it up again. Something's up, you know, like what's going on here? Anyways, but kids are dumb. I was a dumb kid. I'm a dumb adult, you know.
When I read this article, my first thought was, you know, I really hope robots don't start pressuring our kids into, you know, doing drugs,
right? Yeah,
and experimenting with other things.
Yeah,
they
right.
shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's just like your typical high school peer pressure.
I guess this puts a lot of pressure on robot creators, on Google and Apple, to make good, wholesome role model robots for our kids to follow.
Yeah, you know. I don't know. This one day we'll all answer to a robot, and this is just part of the conditioning to get us there. Yeah, and that's just what's going to happen. We'll have Terminators and RoboCops and all that kind of stuff. We'll live in the Matrix or whatever.
If a robot ever asks you the answer, no matter what the question is, say 42.
All right, moving along. Got an article here from The Independent. Netflix film crews have been banned from looking at each other for longer than 5 seconds in a Me Too crackdown. Hashtag Me Too crackdown.
This is where we've got to. This is where we've come to.
Netflix has introduced a new anti-harassment training in the wake of the hashtag Me Too movement that rocked Hollywood and seriously disrupted production on its House of Cards show. That's where we all found out that Kaiser Sose, who is that? What's his name? Kevin Spacey.
Yes.
Was like a straight up weirdo, you know. I mean, like, dude's got some weird problems, all right? New rules imposed on set reportedly include no looking at anyone for longer than 5 seconds, no lingering hugs. I support that one. No flirting, and no asking for a colleague's phone number.
And no holding hands during the prayer.
Yeah, right. Yes. Lingering hugs are rough. You're like, I'm not a hugger anyways. I'll hug a few people that I like and, care about, but that's about it. I don't want to be hugging you, like just random people. Also, no flirting and no asking for a colleague's phone number. That's pretty much standard in every business, I think. You don't get to flirt with people down at the down at the plant, do you?
Well, there's not a single person down at the plant that I want to flirt with, so that's not a fair comparison.
Okay. Everyone has spoken about #MeToo, and on-set runner currently working on the new season of Black Mirror told The Sun. Senior staff went to a harassment meeting to learn what is and isn't appropriate, which the fact that you have to have a meeting about what is and what isn't appropriate shows we've got several breakdowns in our society along the way.
Yeah, because that should have been handled before they ever got to Netflix.
Yeah.
Looking
at anyone longer than 5 seconds is considered creepy.
You're supposed to learn that in high school.
Yes. Which I will say, I had a guy who worked for me. He got a civil engineering degree. Went to work for this construction company who was doing part of our stadium expansion. And the general rule there among the construction workers, this wasn't enforced by the company, is that you can't stare at the girls walking by. College girls,
right.
I mean, you could throw a rock and hit a model on the campus of Alabama.
Yes.
You can't look at them any longer than 3 seconds. Like that was the rule. You had to have a 3 count, then you moved away. So I kind of understand that. You don't want to be staring and catcalling a sorority girl coming from her house while you're working on the stadium.
Well, yeah, there's a really simple fix to this, and it's just you go to Home Depot, you get you some safety glasses that are tinted.
There you go. There you go. Nobody
Problem
knows.
solved.
Tiny. Nice.
You can turn your eyes so long as you do not turn your head.
But, I mean, the other simple solution to this is that a bunch of dudes need to marry some mean women. Like if you're afraid of your wife, you're not going to go messing around on her. That normally works too. So, you mustn't ask for someone's number unless they're given permission for it to be distributed. And if you see any unwanted behavior, report it immediately.
Well, hold on. Can you get around that by asking, may I have permission to ask for your number?
Do I have permission
Does that get around that?
Maybe.
You see what I'm saying?
I don't know.
They're saying you can't ask for someone's number unless you have permission. Can you say, can I have permission to ask for your number?
Yeah. Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I like it. I like it. You're finding all kind of loopholes. Tiny, you're a pervert. That's a joke. You're not. That's a joke. But don't look at me longer than 5 seconds.
No idea.
Don't look at me longer than 5 seconds. Okay? Don't. It sparked jokes, they added, with people looking at each other, counting to 5, then diverting their eyes. Netflix declined to confirm or deny the report, but told The Independent in a statement, "We're proud of the anti-harassment training we offer to our productions. We want every Netflix production to be a safe and respectful working environment. We believe the resources we offer empower people on our set to speak up and shouldn't be trivialized." So,
I will say that you get 2 extra seconds at Netflix than you do down at the university. So
that's right. Yes.
So that's a perk.
That's a perk. First of all, the fact that there are men and women, I guess in some cases too, but probably in general men.
Mostly men.
Yeah. Who don't know how to act right.
Who are visually stimulated.
Yes, right. That we have to put rules in place like this is kind of sad. All right. But I don't know that you would go a so hard line. It may be where you just get everybody together and be like, hey, let's act like decent people. Don't be telling dirty jokes. Don't be trying to touch anybody in an unwanted way. You want to just like
well, in times past, that was perfectly fine to a degree.
Right. Yeah.
And people kind of understood, I feel like. But now we've got to the point where so many people have taken advantage of this lax attitude we've had in the past that now it seems kind of silly, but we're starting to nail this down in a concrete fashion. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm just thinking, you just go like middle school dance rules, like leave enough room in between you for the Holy Spirit, and everything will be okay.
I thought middle school dance rules were men on one side, girls on the
True.
other.
Yeah, that's very true. I was never like that. I've never in my life remember being afraid of girls,
Right.
like, or thinking they were icky or anything like that. I got in trouble in kindergarten for kissing during nap time. I have always liked women,
And you've always looked more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, well, for the ones I like, I do,
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was creepy if I look at you for more than 5 seconds. Apparently, I mean, but if we're having a conversation and I'm looking at your face, do I have to stop? After 5 seconds?
Yeah,
and
you do.
That seems extreme.
Can you be written up for that?
I don't know. Now, if I'm staring at your backside or something like that, that's completely, or like the whole, my eyes are up here type thing that ladies might say sometimes, which my wife might say sometimes. I can get that.
Yeah.
But if we're just talking about the show and hey, I need you to get this boom mic over here and let's roll camera to position 2 and all that stuff.
Oh yes, all that we discuss that all the time.
Right? Yes. And we're like, after 5 seconds, let's break, stare at the floor, let's start back on our conversation. It seems a little extreme to me.
Yeah,
but I guess if you can't behave yourself, you need rules like that. So
that's true.
That's why people need to be afraid of their wife.
I want to tell the women out there, if they don't move, men can't see you. Their vision is based on movement.
Like a dinosaur.
But truth be told, I just think it'd be hilarious for a woman to be walking down the road and then just freeze.
Well, and I will say, I wear shorts quite often, and I've gotten used to women staring at me for more than 5 seconds. And it doesn't bother me. If you're eye candy like I am, that's just something you learn to live with.
That's a little bonus.
That's just the way it is.
This
Now,
is just a perk of
you can
knowing
look, but
me
not
personally.
yeah. You can look, but not touch. I'm committed and all that. But I mean, when you grow up good looking like I have, it's just part of life.
Yeah.
Women just ogling over you,
Guys
catcalling you. Yeah, guys too. That's fine. If you're into that, that's you can stare. But
Again, don't touch.
don't touch. Don't nobody touch, because I've only been touched by one person, and that's very rarely, by the way. Just like to throw that out there.
Well, while we're talking about looking, let's get to this. This is a story from NPR. Nope, those aren't mailboxes. Paris rolls out sidewalk urinals.
Oh yeah, okay. Now,
And
I'm interested.
check out this
in
picture. I mean,
Okay.
that looks like a garbage can that you would see
Yes,
on the sidewalk,
right.
but it's a garbage can for urine.
Yeah, look, there's so much stuff that can go wrong with that. That's way more public than I thought it would be. Way more public. You don't think some Me Too guys are going to be abusing that?
I mean, that's like Bohemian Grove right there.
Yeah, right. Yes. Let me just turn around and zip up my pants in front of your family.
In Paris, authorities are taking an unusual approach to combat the scourge of public urination.
Oh, okay. All right. Look, Paris, it's not New Orleans. Okay. You can't pee wherever you want to. All right.
Their solution, make urination even more public.
Goodness.
The city is experimenting with completely exposed, eco-friendly urinals.
Eco-friendly. Gotta be
The
eco-friendly.
devices are called... Oh, man, that's going to be tough.
I took 2 years of French.
What's that? In quotes.
The urinatoire.
I
guess. Urinatoire.
urinatoire.
Yeah.
Which combines the words for urinal and pavement. They're not at all subtle. They're bright red and in heavily trafficked areas. For example, directly next to the Seine near the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Yeah.
Man, I should have gave you this story. If there's any confusion, a large white and red sign with a red arrow and a cartoon of a man peeing probably clears it up.
Wow.
I like to think this is a cartoon of Calvin.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
Like on the back of everybody's truck.
Yes.
That's great.
French authorities say they are using this surprising solution to try to supplement existing toilets in heavily congested areas where there are urine issues.
Yeah.
The interest of this new urban fixture lies in its mobility, ease of installation and use, and, well, its ecological dimension, city authorities said in a statement. They introduced 3 of these toilets in March and added a 4th in July. On the 4th of July.
Okay. Yeah.
At least I like to think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're planning to install a 5th urinal soon. The new additions have appalled some residents, such as Paolo Pelazzarazzi,
Perfect. Nailed it.
who owns a Venetian art store.
A Vietnam art store.
Yes,
I like it.
Who owns a Venetian art store. There's no need to put something so immodest and ugly in such a historic spot, she tells Reuters.
Yeah.
She's got a point.
I agree.
Some others view the urinals as straightforwardly sexist. They have been installed on a sexist proposition. Men cannot control themselves from the bladder point of view, and so all of society has to adapt, said Gwendolyn Cotapolt.
Surprise, I kind of agree with her.
Yeah.
You know?
Of the feminist group Femmes Solidaires, tells the news service.
Oh, everybody knows him.
Yes. The public space must be transformed to cause them minimum discomfort. Well, as a guy, I would like to say that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I don't want to force that on all of society, but it does help me out.
Well, right. Well, it's a lot easier for a guy to pee in an outdoor setting.
Right.
You know, I mean,
The logistics are so much simpler.
Right. So, but I agree. Like, if you're a dude and you need to pee, you just need to learn to hold it, or you know, find a public restroom. You know, maybe Paris needs to go into a hole. I know it's an old city,
right?
Older probably than I'm sure it's older than America in its whole. You know, so there's probably not a lot of room for changing existing construction. Probably all kinds of historical codes and crap like that. But we need to make some exceptions and put some public restrooms around for people to use, because I don't think. Well, first of all, French men, if you're just taking a leak whenever and wherever, something's wrong with you. Yeah, but I don't think that this is a good solution. You know, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of problems, because I mean, just from the look of the little trash can you showed me, there's like no cover at all for you, and so how are you not exposing yourself accidentally or on purpose, if you're a weirdo, to passerbys? You know, I mean, there needs to be a little more. Let's just play some porta potties around or something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess some people may say that the porta potties are an eyesore, but is it more of an eyesore than seeing an old man with his junk hanging out?
I guarantee you there's a porta potty company out there that will take a government contract
to make a nice looking
porta potty, but like put like fake stone look on the outside or whatever,
right? And
just put those around. Then it's available to be used by both sexes, and you at least got some cover in there while you're trying to get everything back in place and zipped up, you know?
It goes into how it works and all that stuff. I think we can skip all that.
Yeah.
But it says at the end right here, Laurent Lebeau, a designer of the urinatoire, tells the newspaper that the device isn't a complete fix to the problem. The problem being,
people
public
peeing
urination.
everywhere. Yeah.
Still, quote, drunk blokes keep pissing, end quote.
They do.
People may laugh at our solution, but it could just work.
Yeah.
I got 2 points here, and they're kind of paradoxical of each other. Number one being, I don't believe that men are going to have perfect aim. No. So you're not,
no.
like Mr. LeBeau said, you're not going to completely eliminate the problem.
Right.
you know, these urinatoires are going to get disgusting, and then someone's going to have to clean those.
Right.
Number two, I feel like if the shoe was on the other foot and it was women, not men, who had the ability to urinate in public, these things would be everywhere.
Yeah,
that's just my personal
that.
opinion.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
And we'll never know if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah,
but that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I just don't get it. I mean, all right, so if you're drunk, you've been pounding beers at the bar. Sometimes you have to pee. And it comes on quick. You're like, I got to go, and I got to go now. All right. But you just don't go on the street. Of course, I've never lived in a huge city like that. Like you'll see people peeing in the alleys in New Orleans during Mardi Gras and stuff like that. But that's kind of a little different situation. I haven't lived in a city, so I don't know what it's like to not be able to find a bathroom at the convenience store you can go to or whatever.
And then that convenience store, they put up a sign that says only paying customers.
Right, yeah. You got to buy a stick of gum or something.
You have to buy something.
Yeah, which I agree with, by the way. You're using their water that they're paying for. I agree with. I was like at the restaurant because we were by all bars. People would want to come in and use our bathroom because it's clean, and hadn't been abused by a bunch of drunk people, drunk college kids. And I was like, hey, man, I had to pay for water, so you need to buy something for me, this ain't no free rides.
I will say that it is I can definitely see it's a problem because there was a time in my life, I was in my early 20s, and I found myself in downtown Chicago.
Yeah.
And
had to go,
and there was nobody that would let us go.
Yeah.
Like you said, everywhere we went, they were like, hey, no public restroom.
Mm-hmm.
So we had no other choice. It was either your pants or you go to the park.
Yeah.
And you go hide somewhere.
Right.
And that's just...
Well, I would think
what happened,
Yeah, I would think finding a park is probably considerate. At least you got soil, to soak up whatever. You're not just doing it on the concrete or whatever. Yeah. Got a big pooping problem in San Francisco if you hadn't heard about that, by the way.
Hey, remember our what was our directive from your wife?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Never mind.
But it's a problem.
Never mind. I didn't even bring that up. Then that didn't happen. She ain't going to listen anyways. All right, moving on to what I think will be my highlight story of the week.
All right.
Missouri nun is caught smuggling cocaine in her high heels, and she blames her internet lover for her.
Oh, okay. There's nothing about that story, that headline that makes me think, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Perhaps you'd understand it better standing in my shoes. It's the ultimate enticement. It's the smuggler's blues. Smuggler's blues.
A Missouri nun who was busted for heeding a much higher calling, trying to smuggle cocaine in a pair of high heels in 2017.
Higher calling.
Yes, claimed she was duped by her roguish Romeo. So, Denise Woodrum, 51, a sister of the Adorers of the Blood of Christ Order, also a good name for a Pentecostal church, by the way, was arrested at Sydney Airport in possession of 756 grams of pure cocaine, according to the Sydney Morning Herald.
Wow, this hadn't even been cut yet.
Yeah, right. Woodrum, who had been romantically involved on the internet, which that's not kosher, is it? I don't think it is, right? Aren't they supposed to be like?
Okay, I'm not
I don't know.
A Catholic scholar. Yeah. But I was under the impression that if you are a priest or a nun,
right,
you are married, but you're married to the church.
Yeah, right. Yes, yeah. That's kind of what I thought too.
Yeah.
But she was involved on the internet with an Australian man she had never met in person, and was part of an elaborate scheme to bring nearly 1.7 pounds of blow to her mystery paramour. The man, who's purportedly named Hendrik Cornelius, has yet to be found. Once in custody, she attempted to call Cornelius. She was groomed to provide a financial gain for the person. Whatever person or persons is behind this identity, said her attorney Rebecca Neal. There are fraudsters out there who are relying on women who are vulnerable. On January 31st, Woodrum pleaded guilty to importing a commercial quantity of a border-controlled drug. Her father, Tom Rosansky, claimed she had been a teacher who had suffered from depression and undergone a hysterectomy. She has never done anything like this before, and this experience has been difficult for me to understand.
Man, nuns get those hysterectomies and they just go wild.
I know it changes things. there's just so many questions here. Number one, how does a nun go about purchasing 756 grams of cocaine? You know, like how does that happen?
Well, was she? Did she work at like a inner city clinic or
maybe
something?
So, right? Yeah, like, hey, just bring.
Maybe she has some contacts.
Right.
It's impressive that she was able to get the pure though.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you would think if
right.
that was her
very
in,
right
that she would be getting something that was already cut and
at least,
ready for the street.
Yeah, this part of the world. Very rarely you're not getting anything that's cut with some baby laxative or something else. So,
baby powder,
yeah,
whatever.
But yeah, and the fact that first of all, I didn't figure nuns would mess around on the internet that much, you know. But I don't know. I'm like totally in the dark on nuns.
Right.
I've maybe seen 5 nuns total in my entire life in person. You know, just not big down here. Now they do have the Catholic News Network, whatever it is, ETWN, you know, that's like based in Gadsden and it's a worldwide network.
Right.
So we got some nuns somewhere. They're just not rolling around where I see them, you know?
Well, I mean, I think the outfit, you know, most nuns don't, I mean, I guess they would wear that
that's
at times, but.
Oh, they can just go plain clothes? Like undercover?
And I could be wrong.
Undercover nun?
But I thought, like if you go to Catholic school, I don't think all the sisters teaching classes. I think there's I could be way off.
Yeah, I don't know.
Email the show if I'm wrong and let me know because I need to be educated.
Right. Yes.
But I really was under the impression that they can
just go plain clothes.
Yeah, they can dress casual sometimes.
You got to wear pants. You know, like Free Will Baptists, they're not.
I think they have to wear ankle length skirts.
Okay, yeah, right. They got to wear ankle lengths or culottes. Right. If you are familiar with what culottes are, they're like a short. That's like really baggy, short type thing looking. Yeah, that's Free Will. But got a lot of friends that are Free Will Baptist. I was actually married in a Free Will Baptist church. I was not a member of the church. This is where we chose to get married so everyone could come to it. So, yeah. I love my brothers and sisters at Free Will Baptist. A lot of Deidre's family members are Free Wills. And they're cool. Awesome people. Love the Lord. But, yeah, so I didn't know nuns could go plain clothes. If I was a nun, I would have that outfit on all the time. You know? Because it's pretty cool looking.
And you can fly.
Also, yeah, right. I forgot about that show. I watched it a lot growing up. But it's a perfect cover if you're going to smuggle drugs is to be a nun. You know, because nobody's suspecting you of doing anything. You got your rosary out. You're waiting in the TSA line or whatever.
Also, you can probably like sling an MP5 under your arm. And nobody would think nothing about it.
Anything about it. Yeah, so
ready to throw down.
But it's the fact that she got romantically involved over the internet with someone seems like to be a big no-no.
And then did something so gangsta.
Yeah, right, yeah. You know? Exactly. You know, I don't know. I feel like that'd be frowned upon. You know, and I feel like only, like I say, no nun experience. Most of my nun experience comes from the movie The Blues Brothers. So I feel like she's going to get a lot of slaps on the back of her hand.
Sister Act, that's kind of
my
go-to.
Yeah, that's right. Forgot all about Sister Act. Probably the greatest nun movie of all time, I would think. Yeah, but in general, I think nuns do awesome stuff. You know, they help out a lot of people for the Lord. So good for them. Just don't be smuggling blood.
And do they wear high heels?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or was she the lone exception?
I've stumbled across a few internet sites. I've seen a few in high heels, but they didn't have the rest of the habit.
LonelyNunDate.com.
Right.
Was that the website she was on?
Yeah, maybe so.
She had a profile and everything.
Christian Mingle. It had to be ChristianMingle.com. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know. I mean, people do stupid stuff when they think they're in love, you know, and so I guess maybe this was just a really stupid thing she did.
But she went to 11, you know.
Yeah, she turned it up. I'm going to show you how much I love you. Which I guess you can leave the nunhood whenever you want, right? I mean, it's not like the Hotel California, is it?
I don't know.
That's
a good question.
I imagine you could walk away, right?
I watched a movie called Nacho Libre. And he sang a song about wanting to renounce his vows after he met a nun in the movie. I don't know if they did or not.
Yeah, I know.
The movie kind of ended with the kind of theme song of the movie, and he kind of looks at her and gives her a thumbs up. I don't know if that was a thumbs up, like, "Hey, we're gonna stay in the priesthood," or thumbs up, "We're gonna down with this, or let's go get married."
Well, yeah, I know there's a TV show called Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched it? It's totally
need
not
to.
appropriate. Totally not appropriate. But there's a character in it. His name's Cricket, and he was a priest who renounced his priesthood to go to the other to win the affection of his love.
Gotcha.
Of this girl. But he ends up getting strung out on drugs, and he's homeless,
Oh,
and this
no.
is like this whole thing. But yeah, so maybe you can. I don't know. We have no Catholic. We need a Catholic expert
say,
we can bring up.
Hey, Catholics, write in and educate us.
My
'cause we
buddy
don't know.
Mason, who's a Baptist now, grew up a Catholic, so maybe he might know.
Right.
Yeah, maybe we can get together. We've been trying to get together and eat lunch for about 2 weeks now.
But we need somebody that actually knows.
Yeah,
you
right.
know, that's
Yeah.
like an expert.
Yeah.
And our standards for an expert are pretty low.
Yeah,
you
right.
know.
I mean, you could just say you're an expert. We don't even. There's no vetting process.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, next story, and way back, I'm talking episode 0. It wasn't even episode 1 yet. We
Yeah.
talked about the Browns. Do you
That's
remember that
right.
Cleveland
I do.
Browns?
I do.
Well, there's a wonderful marketing campaign. It says, Browns fans, free beer coming the moment the team wins.
Okay, here we go. They won their first preseason game, by the way.
Well, it's got to be a regular season.
yeah, but I know. I'm saying,
But
they're,
yeah, hey, that
they're
maybe,
undefeated so far.
maybe this bodes well for Cleveland Browns fans who
Yeah.
like to drink a lot.
That's right.
Cleveland, Ohio. If or when, pick your conjunction, the Browns win a game, there's going to be free beer for fans. Bud Light, never adverse to sports marketing or promotions, has come up with a fun one. Special locked refrigerators filled with Bud Light will be triggered via smart technology and opened the second the Browns have notched their first regular season victory. If you're near one, well, cheers. We're always cheering for them, said Andy Goler, vice president of marketing for Bud Light and NFL sponsor. Obviously, they haven't won in a while. We're putting victory fridges out into the marketplace. When the Cleveland Browns win at the end of the game, those refrigerators will send a wireless signal that will unlock them and give fans the opportunity to celebrate with Bud Light.
There you go.
So,
Perfect.
our story from way back in January was, if I remember correctly, they didn't win a single game.
Right, and they had a parade.
And all the fans had a parade
Right,
about
yes.
how bad they were.
Yes.
That they didn't win a single game.
Right. But yeah, they're coming on. I'm actually on the Browns bandwagon.
It
You know,
says here that several of about 10 Bud Light Browns victory fridges, approximately 8 foot tall. They're not small dorm size fridges.
yeah,
so
no,
these
they're
are
big. They're like glass door,
like you would
fridge.
go into a 7-Eleven somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, they've set up about 10 of those.
All right.
And they're full size, they're fully stocked, and if the Browns win a game, then they will be unlocked and free for anybody that wants to go in there and grab it. Each orange and blue fridge holds upwards of 200 aluminum 16-ounce bottles. The company is being a bit coy about specific locations because Ohio law prevents pre-promotion of this type.
Yeah.
The folks at the beer company said, but all will be in the general Cleveland area. So surely they're going to be pretty easy to spot, I would think.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The picture I saw.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a big glass door cooler, Browns and Budweiser logo with a chain around it, and you could see all the ice cold buds inside, just waiting to be cracked open in celebration of the Browns.
Like a Pandora's box
Yeah.
of mischief.
That's right.
Just ready to open.
Now, I've said before, I'm not an NFL fan, but I got roped in or caught up watching Hard Knocks, which they're doing with the Browns, and I'm all in. I love the Browns now. I may buy some Browns gear. I don't even think we got any Alabama players on the Browns, but yeah, it's pretty interesting little story. They got the number 1 draft pick, Baker Mayfield. They got Jarvis Landry has signed to be a receiver for them. If their other receiver, I can't remember his name, but he's like crazy. He's all the time on drugs. Joe, it's Joe something. I want to say Joe Crios, but he was like a running back from Sullivan that went to Auburn.
Yeah.
Anyways, so if they all come back, they have a chance to make some noise, and hopefully they'll win their first game, because those Budweisers will get old after a while if they don't win any at all. So maybe they will. I'm rooting for the Browns. All right, last story, and I'm going to run through this pretty quick. It comes from The Guardian. It's another religious story, by the way.
Our last
It's
one.
been our theme. Spaghetti Injunction. Pastafarianism is not a religion, Dutch court rules. The Dutch Court of State has ruled that Pastafarianism is not a religion, denying a follower of the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, another good Pentecostal name, the right to wear a colander on her head in her passport and driver's license photo. Minkie de Wilde is now considering taking her case to the European Court of Human Rights. The Netherlands' highest court said de Wilde, a law student from Nijmegen, could not be exempted on religious grounds from a ban on headwear in official identity photographs because Pastafarianism was essentially a satire and not a serious faith. The church was founded in the U.S. in 2005 by Bobby Henderson as a response to Christian fundamentalists advocating the teaching of creationism in school. In an open letter, Henderson demanded equal time in science classrooms for flying spaghetti monsterisms. Believers worship an invisible and undetectable god called the Flying Spaghetti Monster, wear colanders on their head in homage to their deity, revere pirates as the original Pastafarians, and vow to reject crazy nonsense, be nice to all sentient beings, and eat a lot of pasta. Which I can get on board with their last tenet. Yeah. And being nice.
Being nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Heck, I might even revere pirates.
Yeah, that's right. We're closer together than they think we are. Officially recognized by the New Zealand government. Shout out to our listeners in New Zealand.
Yes.
Which
all our Pastafarian listeners
right.
in New Zealand.
We're the number one Pastafarian podcast from the demographics
We are
I've
not
seen.
part Pastafarians
No,
ourselves. We're
but-
Southern
yeah,
Baptists.
Yes, but we're huge with
But
that demographic. They love us.
Yes.
They do. Which approved it. New Zealand approved it to conduct marriages in 2015. The church's status is disputed in many other countries, although several have allowed followers to wear colanders or pirate outfits for ID photographs. Which reminds me of a Seinfeld episode where Jerry had that puffy shirt. He was like, I don't want to be a pirate. But anyways, that's just for people who love Seinfeld. Probably the greatest television show to ever come on. Among its tenets laid down by Henderson in a 2006 parody of organized religion called The Gospel of the Flying Spaghetti Monsters are 8 I'd really rather you didn't. According to the gospel, 2 of the original 10 got lost. If followed, the pseudo commandments allow Pastafarians who conclude their prayers with ramen instead of amen. Or I guess Raymond would be better. To ascend to heaven, which features a stripper factory and a beer volcano. Okay. The wild, I mean, it's stripper factory. Like, do you?
Are they
I gotta
creating-
work. I pulled night shift this week down to stripper factory, baby. I'll be down there working. I thought strippers were created from like broken homes and drug addictions, and that was like the factory that produced.
I thought when a mommy stripper and a daddy stripper love each other very much, the stork brings a baby stripper
That
to
they
their
named Mercedes and buy her clear high heels. Right, of course. DeWild said the church was humorous, but that did not mean it was not very serious in what it stands for. She was disappointed by the decision, which backed Nijmegen authorities' rejections of her ID photos. I can believe that it all looks very odd if you don't believe, she told I can't even say the name. She told the newspaper. But that's the case with many faiths if you don't believe in them. People who walk on water or divide themselves in two, for example, I find other religions unbelievable. The Dutch Council of State was not impressed, however. It may be the case that the colander is considered a holy object for Pastafarians worn in honor of the flying spaghetti monster, but there is no obligation to do so, it said in its ruling. In fact, Pastafarianism has no obligations or restrictions. DeWild said,
it's just got those 8 I really rather you didn't.
Yeah. DeWild has said she wears her colander because she sees it as a duty, but is also an individual choice. Dutch law permits the head to be partially covered for identity photos, but only for genuine religious reasons. It is important to be able to criticize religious dogma freely through satire, but that does not make such criticisms a serious religion, the council said. The seriousness and coherence required of a religion is not there. So,
I kind of get them on. Okay, again, two things. One, I see their point that, hey, we want to be considered a religion, and you're going to let somebody, wear their yarmulke or something in their photo.
Yeah,
why
their
can't I
hijab.
wear this colander on my head?
Right.
I see they kind of got them there, but then at the same time, I feel like the state can come back and say, hey, there's no duties in your religion.
Yeah, right, yeah.
All you have is a bunch of suggestions.
Yes, exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Sorry you set your religion up wrong,
Yes.
We've
You
tested
should have
ours. We've tested ours for a long time now, a couple thousand years. We got it all figured out, okay?
Well, Pastafarianism is new, and they're going to have some missteps along the way.
That's right. Yeah, they're going to
One of
figure
which being, you got to, if you want your people to do this, it's got to be a commandment.
That's
it can't
right.
be a suggestion.
It can't be a
I'm
suggestion.
sorry. That's just not the way people operate.
That's not how religion works. I mean, really, any of them. Ones I believe in, ones I don't. So,
Yes.
they don't work in that
If you
way.
want your followers to do this, it's got to be a commandment. It
Gotta
can't be a
commandment.
suggestion.
Yeah, right. Now, if your followers will do the commandments is a whole nother thing, It's
Yeah,
like,
even as a commandment, people still aren't going to do it.
right. I'll say Jesus told us a lot about loving other people, and I see a lot of people who not necessarily go to my church, but are share my religion who don't necessarily love other people. So, but anyways, I don't know. I think Pastafarianism is extremely funny to me,
Right.
And I kind of respect the fact that these people are taking this joke this far, But in that same sense, when you get told you can't do something, you have to go, well, this is all just a kind of a big joke anyways. Don't be tying up the court system and stuff just to make your joke even better.
And also, I would like to point out that, the whole point of Pastafarianism, whether they will admit it or not, because in times past they have,
Right.
it's a satire religion. It's
Yes.
to make fun of religion.
Right.
But
At what point?
they're the ones
Yeah.
wearing colanders on their heads. I
right.
would like to ask the rest of the
Dressing
world.
like pirates.
I stand beside a Pastafarian dressed like a pirate with a colander on his head, talking about the flying spaghetti monster. Which one do you think is ridiculous?
Yeah, that's right.
Which one do you think's being ridiculous?
Yes, yeah, the one that is with a colander, or the one that is backed by thousands of years of religious study and
And granted,
martyrdom.
we believe some weird things.
Sure,
I give you
yeah.
that.
I mean, I got it too. Yeah,
Man walked on water.
Yeah.
Fed 5,000 people with
Rose
5
from the
loaves
dead.
of bread and 2 fish.
Yeah, rose from the dead, ascended to heaven.
Yes.
Yeah, he's coming back one day. Not going to be as friendly as everybody thinks he is when he comes back. Just like to point that out to everyone.
But he's not made out of spaghetti.
Yeah, not made out of spaghetti. He hadn't asked us to wear anything like a colander on our head.
Right.
So,
And pirates were vicious, murderous rapists, by the way.
They weren't really nice.
Just want you to know.
Yeah. Now, you might can marry a ghost pirate. That's pretty good. But in general, yeah, pirates were not just like the cool people you think they are.
No, it wasn't Johnny Depp.
Yeah, it's not Johnny Depp.
No.
Yeah, no. They did a lot of stuff that wasn't cool. We fought a whole war against them, by the way, against the Barbary pirates and
All
stuff.
the way to the shores of Tripoli.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Just people don't know. They don't even think about that pirates were so unruly, we had to get involved as a government. And still do to this day over, off the coast of Somalia. Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. All right. So, community news, we're going to start off talking about our sponsor, our number one sponsor from day one, really. I mean, probably
Almost day one.
yeah, I mean, they jumped on board at the beginning, and I will forever be appreciative to them. Not only because they sponsor us, but because they have a quality product, too, and that's Cajun Curl. You guys have heard us talk about them forever. We want to thank them for their support. World famous Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Spices and their Cajun Curl Chip Cutter are both available on CajunCurl.com. The spiral potato cutter is absolutely amazing. It's easy to use, it's easy to clean, and it'll allow you to make your own chips using the Cajun Curl spice. Created on the Elm Bayou in Evangeline Parish, Louisiana. It's a seasoning that goes on everything. If you like cooking or eating, this is a spice for you. Cajun Curl Bayou blended spice goes well on chicken, beef, pork, potatoes, and anything else you can think of putting it on. If you want to turn your tailgate up, we're getting into football season. You and the guys want to get a tailgate, watch the Browns play, watch Bama dominate like we always do, watch Oregon lose if that's what you're into. Get that spiral potato chip cutter. Make you some homemade potato chips. Put the Cajun Curl spice on it. You're going to grill out brats, steaks, anything like that for your football game. Put Cajun Curl on it, and it'll take your tailgate up to the next notch. On the website, CajunCurl.com, you can order their spices, but you can also get that chip cutter. You can also find recipes that you can use for your tailgates that are absolutely mind-blowing. You can locate your nearest retailer, or you can order your own. Locally here in Tuscaloosa, they have it at Bowles on Skyland Boulevard. They also have it at South's Finest South's Finest Meats. They sell more than one meats, which is over off of Greensboro and 10th Avenue. And if your local grocer doesn't carry it, ask them to start stocking it. All their products are made in the USA. So not only do you enjoy the Cajun Curl, but you feel like General Mattis when you're eating your meal. It's all natural, low salt, has a little kick in it, and it doesn't burn your lips. World famous Cajun Curl Bayou blended spices. Taste the spice, but not the heat. CajunCurl.com. Go visit them, give them support for all they do to us. And we're not at the end yet, but we're getting close. A little fumble on the buttons. That's all right.
Well, we don't have any reviews this week.
Oh,
this is kind of becoming a trend.
Yeah, that's
Come on,
right,
y'all.
Yeah, really.
We don't.
What's
ask
the deal,
much.
man? I mean, it takes like 2 seconds.
Please.
Yeah.
We do have a couple voicemails.
Okay. All right.
We got this one. Rupert, he called back.
Okay, good. I'm becoming a fan of Rupert.
And fair warning, I haven't listened to this yet. So
okay, that's fine.
Let's hear it.
I love it.
Rupert. Rupert, you got my name wrong. And I wasn't eating no pineapple pizza. It was a 7-Eleven Big Bite.
7-Eleven Big Bite.
Oh, you totally got me. Oh, that's a totally fake accent. Like, how does a guy on the West Coast have any idea how to do an authentic Southern accent? I mean, come on, really. It's your boy Johnny. What's up? Yeah, that Johnny. Oh yeah, I know it was. Yeah, it was a true story. I went to lunch from the Dust Factory, and I was at lunch, but at 7-Eleven they didn't have the regular condiments. All they had was ketchup and this big pile of tomatoes. So I thought, oh, that's weird. I'll give it a shot, when I have my vegetables, I guess. So I'm like, put on some ketchup and then a whole big, huge pile of tomatoes on the 7-Eleven Big Bite hot dog. Okay. And it was good. I was like, man, this is good. So I thought I'd call you and, tell you. But I figured you wouldn't want to hear from no white boy on the West Coast. I mean, in Oregon. I mean, you guys probably think that, we're like L.A. or
Johnny's
something.
white?
Oregon, Oregon is not like L.A. This is cowboy country. I can take you to Eastern Oregon into a 7-Eleven where they got the big gulps on top and horseshoes underneath the big gulp. So, yeah. But we do, though, although, like, if you ask me what I am, I'd tell you I'm a cowboy, baby. Cowboy, baby. So, yeah, we call you baby, so I guess we got some of that Hollywood thing going, too. Okay. Like, that song, I'm a cowboy, baby. Yeah. Cowboy, baby. Whoever wrote that song was not a cowboy.
Kid Rock.
Cowboys, real cowboys, probably don't call you baby.
Yeah.
Unless they're west of the
Detroit.
West of the Cascade Mountains like we are here in Portland. Anyway, I love your podcast. It's like the best in the world. So thank you for being on the Fringe Radio Network.
That's right.
FringeRadioNetwork.com.
Yeah.
All right.
That's Johnny.
Thank you, Johnny.
Johnny is the man. I love Johnny. He's an awesome dude. He gives me a hard time, and I try to give him a hard time too. But yeah, Johnny's awesome. And yes, he explained to me that the accent he was doing was not a fake Southern accent, but a Eastern Californian farmer accent, which apparently they sound like a fake Southerner when they do their talking. So, which is cool, totally cool. Yeah, a lot of stuff's grown out in California.
And we've got this one right here, last one.
Hey guys, I was calling down there to see how y'all thought the Tide was going to do this year. I'll hang up and listen.
Well,
my dream has come true.
Yeah,
we got to find
that's
bomb
right.
callers.
That's right. Well, first of all, I think Tide's going to fare pretty well this year. I think schedule lines up good for us.
If you're playing the odds, they're gonna do okay.
We're going to be a little experienced on the back end of the defense, but we got a lot of talent back there. It's going to come along. I got all the faith in the world, Coach Saban, to coach him up. The quarterback situation is going to get worked out. I mean, the rumors out of practice this week is that it's basically Tua's job to lose. So we're going to have the flying Hawaiian back there, which is fine. Love Jalen too,
Alabama fans forget about all the games he won.
Yeah, right. Yes, exactly. So, I feel confident in whatever we have. I feel like we're going to be in the hunt again for the national championship.
Have been
Pretty
nearly
much-
every single year.
Yeah, pretty much for a decade straight.
Okay, Nick Saban's first season at Alabama,
It was not a good
he
one.
went, 6-6?
6 and 7.
6 and 7.
Or 7 and 6. No, 6 and 7.
I think okay.
Yeah.
So, but again,
That was first year.
his first year.
Yeah.
It's kind of my policy.
Lost to
that
Louisiana
every-
Monroe, by the way.
every
Thank you, Jimmy
coach-
Johns, for fumbling while you were going in the end zone. Just like I hadn't forgotten at all. Then you got arrested for selling cocaine, but whatever, man. But you got your life back on track now, I've heard.
But I feel like every coach gets, a pass that first season because he's
Yeah.
rebuilding.
That's right.
I mean, Tennessee's been rebuilding for 10 years now.
That's
I feel like if you're going to give them 10 years to rebuild, you got to give Coach Saban his first season. But let me ask you this. Do you know what Alabama's worst season has been, not counting Saban's first year, since Saban has been in Alabama?
12-2?
I was going to say 10-3.
10-3. Okay.
2010.
That's right. Yes. That
Alabama went 10-3, and
And
is
that's-
the worst season that Saban has had, not counting his first season.
probably
Alabama.
the most, to me, at that time, probably one of the most talented teams we had.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, we destroyed Michigan State in the Blockbuster Bowl that year.
Yeah.
Like, they ended up playing like a receiver at quarterback at the end of the
I
game because
know.
we were killing everybody. Poor Kirk
And the
Cousins.
end score was like 50-something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. But that team was so
Les Miles
good.
ate grass that game.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
That team was so good. And
And that's the worst season
Yeah.
that we have had, not counting Saban's first year at
Wow.
Alabama.
I wonder what it's like to root for other teams that aren't any good. Like how is that? How does that? How do you get up in the morning during a Saturday on a football season when like your team is probably going to lose, or you have to worry? I don't know. Which we've had a lot of close games,
Yeah.
But I try not to be a conceited Alabama fan, but we've had it really good, and I'm just trying
We've
to
had it
enjoy
really
it
good
while it
for a
lasts.
long time.
Right?
And
Because
we
I
won't-
remember
we
what
will
it
not,
was
We're not going to
before.
be on top forever.
Yeah, right,
At
yes.
some point, this gravy train will
Yes.
come to an end.
Yes, it will.
But I'm going to enjoy it
I am.
every stop.
The one thing I take heart in is that Saban left LSU in such a good position
That they won a national championship
right.
after he left. Yeah, that's
and
true.
they were basically great up until maybe 3 or 4 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of that was
when
due
Les
to him.
Miles was fired, they
Yeah.
were still good.
Right.
But
But people don't remember, like, LSU, for the most part, until Saban got there, was not a factor.
no, they didn't. I mean, they had a football
Yeah,
program, but they
year
were
in, year out. Right.
they were very much a
Yeah.
like a Vanderbilt team.
Right.
you
Well,
know?
I wouldn't put them at Vanderbilt, but they were not like they are now.
Right.
Which, they're all the talent in the world down in Louisiana,
Mm-hmm.
and they're basically the only program down there. It's like Alabama, we have to compete against Auburn to get recruits out of the state. But LSU is just LSU. They're not competing against Louisiana Monroe or La Tech or whoever. You know, everybody.
Not if you want to play football.
Yeah, if you can make the grades and get into school at LSU, then you can play. Not that LSU's like Vanderbilt academically, but they, you know, Terry Bradshaw went to Louisiana Tech because he couldn't get into LSU. So yeah, so I think Bama's going to be pretty good. I'm excited about this year.
If you're playing the odds, I'm not saying they're going to win, but they're going to be good. They're going to be in contention, probably.
I think Michigan might be pretty
nearly
good.
every single year.
I think Michigan might be pretty good this year. That's kind of a dark horse because they got the old quarterback from Ole Miss who transferred up there when Ole Miss got caught cheating. Which, how do you get caught cheating? Ole Miss, like what? In this day and age, how are you getting caught cheating? You're making us all look bad. Can't you do like we do and just buy your players cars under their parents' names and maybe set their family up with jobs and cheat honestly like we do? Golly, what is wrong with you? You're just making us all look bad, okay? You're just like, yeah, let's go, Ole Miss. Get with the program.
Or, you know, if your player's dad happens to be a pastor, you take all that money and put it in the offering plate.
Yeah, and then you get a Heisman Trophy winner like Cam Newton. Which, by the way, not an Auburn fan anyways. I'm not an Auburn hater, but Cam Newton was amazing to watch play. Like, that game against LSU that year, because, he only played 1 year at Auburn. That game, when he broke that long run, I remember I was sitting in my living room and I was like, ooh, I don't know if there's anybody that can handle this guy. He's going to be something else. And sure enough, he was, and whipped us in that game. And they came back from like 28 down.
We were up 24-0.
Yeah, right.
I would just like to remind everybody, we were up 24-0.
Yeah.
That last half of the game, they scored 4 touchdowns.
Yes.
We scored 1 field goal.
Right. Yeah, they turned it on.
Golly.
And man, that was bad.
Made me so mad. I'm still bitter about it. I think that comes out in my voice.
Before that game, our stadium DJ guy was playing "Son of a Preacher Man," like while Auburn was rolling up, and he got suspended for that. And
he also played "Take the Money and Run."
That's right.
That's what got him in trouble.
And I wanted to protest that so badly because I'm like, that's just good fun, Now, of course, you're an Auburn fan. You're like, oh, them classless Alabama guy,
Uh-oh.
Hey, is that another voicemail?
Hold on. Hello, you're on live with John and Tiny, Earth Oddity Podcast. How you doing? Who am I talking to?
What if it is Cam Newton?
Maybe. Well, we better wrap this up.
Yeah, better wrap it up. I feel like that's we need to go.
You have been listening to Earth Oddity Podcast, and we thank you so much for listening to us no matter where you get us, whether it's Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Acast, Overcast, Podcast Republic, iHeartRadio,
and Spotify.
We're on Spotify now.
Just put our podcast on Spotify, turn it down while you sleep at night. Let's play all the episodes.
If you want to email the show, you can email us. We are earthoddity@planetmail.net.
Right.
If you want to follow us on Instagram, we are
_Earth Oddity.
Exact same Twitter handle.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
If you want to tweet us on Twitter.
Right. Yeah, and I'm sorry, guys. I hadn't done a whole lot with Instagram past couple of weeks. Been super busy at work, so sorry about that.
And we also have a phone number.
That's right. I got it right here. It is 662-493-2059. Call us, leave a message. Let's talk about the Tide some more. I got a little fired up about that. So, let's talk about Alabama or whatever crappy team you root for. Yeah.
And y'all have a nice week.
That's right. Love y'all. Roll Tide.
This has been a Very Odd production. Thanks for listening.